In this video, we are going to talk about top 10 TV shows of all time, so before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Here's a list of the top 10 TV shows of all time. Let's start. Number 10. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Star Trek was already legendary and iconic by the time the first spin-off series, The Next Generation, arrived in 1987. And while many fans eyed Captain Picard and his crew warily at first, and rightfully so considering the series' first couple of shaky years, this new take on the voyage of the Starship Enterprise eventually earned its own place among great sci-fi television. Not only did star Patrick Stewart elevate the series and the genre with his Shakespearean-trained approach, but Next Gen's continued mining of the vast Star Trek universe for thought-provoking, exciting, and often relevant to the here and now stories mirrored and sometimes outmatched the original series. TNG was also a trendsetter in the strange galaxy known as first-run syndication for dramatic series, helping to prove that television did not have to be constrained to the big three networks, long before cable dramas and streaming Emmy winners were the norm. And finally, The Adventures of the Enterprise D stood as a testament to the enduring appeal and adaptability of the Star Trek concept. The original show was not a fluke, and indeed, 3 more sequel series would follow, and now we're on the verge of getting yet another in Star Trek: Discovery. Number 9. 30 Rock. Loosely inspired by Tina Fey's experiences as head writer for Saturday Night Live, 30 Rock was a hilarious look behind the scenes at a fictional sketch comedy show, TGS with Tracy Jordan. The cast of Fey, Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan, Jane Krakowski, Scott Adsit, and Jack McBrayer created a unique and memorable group of characters that were hilariously awkward, hyper-alpha, probably crazy, incurably vain, hopelessly jaded and possibly immortal. Not content with being a traditional sitcom, 30 Rock elevated the medium with its hyper-aware meta-observations on everything from its own product placement and advertising to current events outside of the show. 30 Rock's unique style of comedy and absurdist take on the traditional sitcom make it one of our all-time favorites. Number 8. Battlestar Galactica. Using the core concept of a 1970s series that is looked back on with affection, but didn't exactly live up to its potential, Ron Moore's version of Battlestar Galactica is one of the finest examples of a reboot one can imagine. With the enemy Cylons capable of looking like humans in this version, BSG not only could tap into themes of paranoia and questions of what makes us truly alive, but also allowed Moore to delve into some very notable scenarios, many of which few other shows were willing or able to deal with head-on. Produced in the wake of 9/11, Battlestar Galactica was a stellar and powerful example of how science fiction can reflect and comment upon our modern world through a fantasy prism, as episodes dealt with topics like torture, occupation, the line between resistance and terrorism, and much more. Impressively grounded and filled with terrific characters and performances, Battlestar Galactica is sci-fi at its best. Number 7. The Cosby Show. It's difficult to reflect on The Cosby Show, and particularly challenging to return to the character of quirky family man and Dr. Cliff Huxtable, given recent accusations against Bill Cosby. Putting recent revelations aside as much as one can, there's no denying the show's place in television history, and what it represented as a cultural moment. Beyond Cosby, the show also features some performances that were instantly iconic. Felicia Rashad as the inspirational Claire Huxtable and Keisha Knight Pullman as the impossibly adorable Rudy certainly rank among the single most iconic characters in family sitcom history. Number 6. All in the Family. America spent 9 seasons and more than 200 episodes with the Bunkers, one of the single most recognizable fictional families throughout television history. He's not the most politically correct protagonist, certainly not now, but actor Carroll O'Connor portrayed patriarch Archie Bunker as a rough-around-the-edges man unsatisfied with the state of things, longing for the older, better days, a character with lasting power and some fascinating modern relevance. Number 5. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones successfully revolutionized fantasy on TV. Whereas the likes of Hercules and Xena, Warrior Princess, were previously the pinnacle of fantasy's depiction on the small screen, HBO's Game of Thrones brought the grandeur of The Lord of the Rings with a heavy dash of the politics of The Sopranos, which together snowballed into a huge success for the network. It's easy to mark the late season 1 twist as the turning point for Game of Thrones' popularity. It prompted a deluge of surprise main character deaths across the TV landscape, but the show's greatness isn't just in its unpredictability. From fantastic performances to gorgeous cinematography, an iconic score and stellar writing, Game of Thrones has raised the bar for the quality of genre television. Number 4. Lost. Lost changed network television forever, and it looked beautiful and kept us all guessing doing it. Mythology-driven, sci-fi-tinged ensemble cast TV is still dominant more than a decade after Lost got the whole country freaked out about smoke monsters and mysterious hatches. The show is usually remembered for its meta-mysteries, some of which paid off in epic fashion and some of which didn't. Looking at you, Hurley Bird. But Lost was more under the hood than that. It often felt almost impossibly gorgeous, with stunning island vistas that showed off its at the time unprecedented budget. And its emphasis on character-driven side stories, especially in its early seasons, allowed the writers to tell a surprising variety of high-quality, self-contained short stories of love, loss, and longing. Number 3. Breaking Bad. The story of cancer-stricken high school chemistry teacher Walter White's transformation into the meth maker and drug kingpin Heisenberg made for addictive television. There are arguably no truly bad episodes of the Vince Gilligan-created series thanks to its impeccable writing, direction, and, of course, the performances of its cast, most notably Bryan Cranston as Walter White and Aaron Paul as his former student-turned-drug partner Jesse Pinkman. Breaking Bad was the peak of American television's decade-long obsession with anti-heroes that began with The Sopranos. The worse Walter became, the more despicable his deeds, and the more tragic the effects had on his family, the better the show became. Breaking Bad has since spun off another acclaimed but different kind of series, Better Call Saul. Number 2. The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone broke boundaries in 1959 by going against all that television was at the time: simple, easy, and safe. Instead, it scrutinized society, often through the lens of science fiction, but without the melodramatic fear-mongering of other media from the same era. The Twilight Zone cared less about shocking viewers into submission and more about planting the seeds of new ideas within them, constantly subverting our expectations in new and profound ways with its now iconic twists and the clever life lessons that bookend each standalone episode. While it paved the way for more technologically modernized takes on its formula, like in the recent Black Mirror, the stories and ideas that unfolded in the Twilight Zone are still just as surprising and relevant today as they were nearly 6 decades ago. Number 1. The Wire. On the surface, HBO's 2002 series, The Wire, looks like a traditional police drama. On second look, the show is an examination of the criminal justice system or relentless critique of the war on drugs. In reality, The Wire is a thorough examination of one American city, specifically Baltimore, Maryland. Created by author and former Baltimore journalist David Simon and written by acclaimed authors like Richard Price, Clockers, and Dennis Lehane, Gone Baby, Gone, the series was known for its hard looks at civic bureaucracy and gritty realism. Aiding to the show's realism was a very talented, but not necessarily well-known cast, which occasionally included former police officers and drug dealers. For 60 episodes, The Wire's cast brought characters like Detective Jimmy McNulty, Dominic West, Omar Little, Michael K. Williams, Kima Greggs, Sonia Sohn, and Stringer Bell, Idris Elba, to life with performances so honest you might think they weren't actors. Another remarkable aspect of the show was its willingness to kill off lead characters in service of the story. Unlike most shows, just about anyone could go at any time. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.